What's up, everyone? It's Dave from the Medal of Honor channel, and I'm wrapping up 2020 with, of course, a top 20 show. And I'm not gonna do the, 20 favorite albums that were released in 2020. I figure that's probably a lot of bands are gonna do that, and I'm gonna end up doing a 6 records episode next week that will probably be 6 favorite albums from 2020. So I thought instead what I would do, this kind of goes hand in hand with the whole vinyl collection thing, and a lot of these albums, if not all of them, I've probably talked about before. What I'm going to do is I'm going to talk about my 20 favorite vinyl purchases in 2020. So that could be new stuff, it can be special editions, it could be very old beat to shit stuff, it can be, all kinds of stuff. So that's what I'm going through, is my 20 favorite vinyl collections, 20 for 2020. All right? So let's get right to it so that way I don't drag this out too long. And I'm going to start off with a band that I just talked about and just got recently, Anguish. Now I know that sounds like a little bit crazy, but I finally got a chance to actually listen to this, and I've listened to it a few times, and it's kick-ass. This is definitely the kind of music that I've really gotten into this year, and that is the death doom genre. But I like this one even more so because, as I said, these guys are from Sweden, and this was released on Dark Descent Records in 2014. But this album, Mountain, and their other stuff as well, very much sounds like Celtic Frost influenced vocal styles, going with that death doom style music. So very kick-ass, really like it. I don't like the cover, it's kind of silly, but whatever. I really like the band, cool looking band, and it's definitely made me want to check out more of their stuff. So I know I just got it, and it seems a little crazy to put it on the list already, but there it is. Number 20 is Anguish, Mountain. Number 19, only had a little while, but to definitely like this, and I've talked about them before. This is Exit Smashed. This is the one that I got along with Funeral Fuck from Bleeding Heart Nihilist Records. It was just something else to throw in when I was ordering from Germany. I didn't want to just buy one album to wait on, so I figured I'd get a couple. I took a chance on this, and goddamn, I really like this album. Just heavy thrash, like I said, very Exodus sounding, even though this is a German band. This is actually self-released. This is from 2020. The album is called Between Death and Death, and it has a really weird, it seems to be a concept album, and it seems to be something like, sort of like a zombie apocalypse thing, only it seems people have the runs. I don't know, but it's got some interesting subjects like, hobos with shotguns, and it seems to be like hobos fighting rednecks at one point. Really weird music as far as the lyrical content, but again, very Exodus-like, black vinyl, kick-ass band. If you're into thrash, check out Exit Smashed. That's number 19 for me. For number 18, I'm going to go with, I'm going to put some Rush in here. This is the first album, the self-titled album, and this is the box set. And let me open this up here for you. I love having, of course, any kind of Rush box set that I can get. And this one of the cool things about it is they did the original red print. A lot of people, you might have seen this album where it has the pink print. That was a misprint, but that I think the majority of people actually ended up getting that. So, but they did the original Moon Records label on there, and then it came with actually framed the poster that it came with, but it came with these little like cards of the band. People tend to kind of overlook this, the fact that John Rutsey was not a slouch on the drums. He was a really good drummer. It's just that he was more of that kind of Zeppelin style. He's really into bands like Bad Company and stuff like that. So, and he only got to do one album. And I mean, let's face it, here it's his. He's a master. He's the maestro, But anyway, this also has some kind of little Rush family tree as far as music goes. So anyway, there's a lot of interesting stuff in here. It's a cool album, though. I know, like I said, it often gets overlooked. but box sets, yeah, lots of fun. Little history lesson for me. So number 18, Rush, self-titled album. Number 17, we're gonna go with Black Anvil. This is As Was. This is a 2017 release on Relapse Records. This is a New York black metal band, and it's just really kick-ass. I think just one of the things that I really liked about it was it kind of reminds me of some of maybe bands like Borknagar, even some of the Emperor stuff, where there was, you know, plenty of black metal vocals, but then there was some clean vocals and some really nice like melodies and harmonies, and very kind of gothic stuff. Just black label for this one, but yeah, kick-ass album. Definitely worth checking out if you're into any kind of black metal at all. I would highly suggest number 17's Black Anvil. Number 16 I've talked about a few times on different episodes, and it is Entrapment. This is Through Realms Unseen. This was 2016 release on Dementia. I've talked about the fantastic artwork, not only on here, but also in the book that comes with this. Where is it? Way in here. Beautiful artwork in this. You know, that is aside from just being a great death metal band. So it's a really killer album, and it's one that I've listened to a lot. And I think that's really probably what's comprising my list here is maybe the 20 albums that I've listened to the most on vinyl since I got it. So anyway, yeah, number 16 is Entrapment. Number 15 I've praised plenty of times, and this is Antrapment. This is the Death Doom album, really just big concept album. Almost too detailed to talk about now. I've reviewed it and I've talked about it in other episodes. It's a 2020 release. This one comes out on $20 Spin, and I believe this was a Canadian band. This is very dark. This is definitely this fuels my artistic mood. So you know, when it strikes me just right, I love to have this album on in the background, and it's been on in the background quite a bit this year. So Antrapment is number 15. That's the Stygian album. Number 14 was getting back to one of the things that first inspired me to get into music, and that is Armored Saints, Raising Fear. I've mentioned it before. John Bush was just one of the reasons why I wanted to sing the way that I sang in my band. Big influence, not only in this, but then, you know, I really liked it when he went on to Anthrax, actually, as well. So, but yeah, this album, really dig this album. Raising Fear, Out on a Limb, Isolation, Chemical Euphoria. Fuck, this is just a really good album. So definitely worth checking out. If you're not familiar with Armored Saint, go back and check this album out. Great album. Number 14, Armored Saint. For number 13, bringing out another Rush one. This is a picture disc. This is the Hemispheres picture disc, and I needed to bring this up because recently I mentioned that my first VCLT came from Matt Paradise, which I appreciate, Matt, but actually that was incorrect. My first VCLT came from Mark Eve, who sent me this one. So, and you know, being of course a huge Rush fan, and you know, just any kind of extra collector's item, getting this Hemispheres disc in the mail from him, sent over from England, really cool. So yeah, number 13, Rush, Hemispheres picture disc. Number 12, again, one of the bands that really influenced me as far as a musical style, which I tried to blend with other things, of course, but Alice in Chains' This Dirt album. I love how thick the guitar tones are, and the tribal drum styles, and then the vocal harmonies. This is an album I'll never get tired of listening to. It's classic, and I know there's a lot of hits on it, of course, as well, but I think maybe the songs that aren't the hits are really more of my favorites. Actually, probably Damn That River, that's probably my favorite one on here, but a lot of good stuff. And just really love that style. So number 12, Alice in Chains' Dirt. Number 11, of course, going all the way back to childhood, and I just thought this was a really great collector's item, and being a big Kiss fan, my favorite Kiss album and favorite Kiss member, Ace Frehley, the solo album. Now, you know, they put out the 4 solo albums in 1978. Of course, they're all dedicated to each other. I think that was probably Gene and Paul's idea. But yeah, so this has like the Ace Frehley poster in here still that links up to the other posters. Really, like I said, you know, I still go see Ace whenever he comes around. He still opens up the show with "Rip It Out," so that's my favorite Ace song. So that means it's probably my favorite, one of my favorite Kiss songs anyway. So yeah, Ace Frehley, number 11 solo album, 1978, Casablanca Records. Number 10 might as well stay in the same vein of the classics and early inspirations. One of the first albums that ever really inspired me to get into hard rock and heavy metal, Van Halen, Fair Warning. This is definitely a desert island album for me. I know it seems like it's probably back a little ways on the list as far as being at number 10, but you know, I've definitely listened to this album a lot. I've had it, you know, before in different versions of this album, so it wasn't necessarily one of my most exciting albums to get this year. It's just is one of them, but I knew I would get it basically. So you know, to this day, Unchained is still one of the heaviest songs ever for me. But I liked how this album also got really dark compared to other Van Halen stuff. So album with no covers, that was actually kind of refreshing as well. So yeah, definitely dig this. Van Halen at number 10. At number 9, we're going to go with Karak Engren. Now, I've talked about their latest, the 2020 release a lot, which is Frankensteinum Strata Imantanos. This album actually is probably my favorite one of theirs, Where the Corpses Sing Forever. The cool thing about this band is all of their stuff seems to be concept album. Always got lots of impressive dark arts to it, and so many different musical textures. You know, they're not really just limiting themselves to black metal. They are definitely symphonic, but they definitely had other elements in it, and just, man, really good stuff. If you're not familiar with these guys, you should definitely give them a try. This one is just black vinyl, I believe, in here, but yeah, Karak Engren is number 9. That is a 2012 release on Seasons of Mist Records. Speaking of black metal, we're going to stick with number 8 with black metal. We're going to go with Emperor. This is Anthems to the Welkin at Dusk. Now this one is on, this was a reissue. It's on Back on Black Records. Originally, I believe this would have been on Candlelight Records. And this came out, the reissue has a really nice deep green vinyl. There you go. The band logo there. So love Emperor, love this album. Just one of those ones that's, you know, as far as someone says black metal, that's the first thing that comes to mind for me. So yeah, number 8, Emperor, Anthems to the Welkin at Dusk. Number 7, I did a review on this album earlier in the year, and I believe I used the word hauntingly beautiful, I don't know, 5 or 6 times describing it at least. Opeth, Ghosts of Perdition. This is one that I just, you know, one of those albums I know every note of. And this one, originally, I think it came out in 2005 on Roadrunner, but of course this was a reissue for 2018 on Music on Vinyl. And just, you know, pretty beautiful classic black. There's an audiophile version of this, of course. Beautiful artwork, incredible music. Heavy and yet melodic, and very progressive as well. So yeah, love Opeth, and especially Ghost Reveries. Number 6 was one I recently obtained, and I was glad to get it back in my collection. It was one I used to love. This came out in 1989. This is DBC, Dead Brain Cells. This is the Universe album, and this was on Combat Records. And you know, I talked about it just recently about how this is kind of a progressive thrash band. This whole album is a concept album about the creation of the universe. What I was just recently told after putting that video up is that apparently this year, possibly early this year, both of the DBC albums are being reissued, so I definitely got to get my hands on those. So yeah, anyway, number 6, DBC Universe. Number 5 was one that we talked about from the very first episode. We were awaiting it, and it happened. Benediction, and yes, of course, there's my man Dave Ingram back in the band. Yeah, look at the camera highlighted him. Cool. Classic lineup with brand new rhythm section. Fuck, this album rocks. I was listening to it today. Just really a killer album. And this was one that I think it had a red and black swirl to the vinyl. And it's really deep red. In fact, the other album, it's so deep, it's actually mostly black. But pretty album as far as the vinyl there, and brutal album as far as what it will do to your ears. Definitely one of the top 2020 releases for me, and not just because Dave's a friend. It's really just an excellent performance, old school death metal. It doesn't need to be updated at all. It's perfect. It's kick-ass just as it is. Great album. Speaking of death metal, of course I had to bring out Death, the Human album, because I've talked about this one several times in different shows this year. It's just one of my most influential as far as death metal bands go, and as far as death metal albums before. Now this one, the original was 1991 on Relapse Records. This was a reissue from 2017. However, this year, as you probably know, the whole Death catalog has been reissued. I do have Spiritual Healing and Leprosy also as well, that I got this year, and kind of working my way through the collection. But Human is it's got a special place in my heart, so it's one of my favorite albums. It's definitely my absolute favorite death metal album, so really cool to get that. So yeah, number 4, Death, Human. For number 3, I just decided to pick this one because it's one of my favorite albums of all time. So it's definitely a Desert Island album. It's one that I would have to have with me, and it is Queensryche's Rage for Order. I was just super excited when it came in the mail because it's just, I don't know, it's a whole lot of nostalgia attached to this album. Really dark, but just really beautiful. You could use the term hauntingly beautiful in a lot of this as well. So not much more I can explain about it other than it's just one of my all-time favorite albums. Kick-ass recording. Queensryche, Rage for Order at number 3. So for number 2, I pretty much could have just used this whole band's catalog. I did a special episode just on this band. It was one of my favorite discoveries. I'm just going to show you one of them, but I really do mean their entire catalog could be a tie for me, and that would be Temple of Void at number 2. This one is of Terror and the Supernatural, but yeah, I've got all their albums. I've got some other, I've got t-shirts, I've got other stuff there. I've just really become quite fond of this band. Really just an original style, even though they definitely fit in the death doom category. This one was the orange vinyl, but they've got a lot of interesting putrid flesh and whatever kind of names for some of their vinyls. I think one of these is. But anyway, I bought all their albums through Bandcamp, and they've always sent me a nice little note or a sticker. They all responded when I posted a video about them. So really personal band on top of being just really interesting and unique, and looking forward to hearing more stuff from them. They just posted something the other day about new demos that they're already working on. So very cool. Number 2, the entire catalog of Temple of Void. And for number 1, I have to end this with the first thing that I actually filmed was a review about my favorite band, of course, Rush, and that is the box set for Permanent Waves. The first episode of Medal of Honor, the first thing I actually filmed was this segment where I reviewed this. So, of course, this came with the reissue of the full-length album, remastered and everything, Permanent Waves. And then it also came with this kick-ass double live album from that particular tour. And I think everything on here is just pretty much just straightforward black vinyl, audio file, and then of course it had this beautiful booklet that came with it, with the lyrics and all the photos from the inside, all this reimagined artwork that went along with the different songs. Really just a beautiful packaging altogether. Couldn't help but say that that one was definitely my favorite thing that I bought as far as my vinyl collection this year. So that's it. That is going to close out. That's the last thing I'm posting for 2020. So I guess we'll see you in 2021 for next will be 6 records. Probably going to do 6 favorite new releases, brutal albums that came out in 2020. But anyway, let me know what's some of your favorite stuff that you got from this year, whether it's old or whether it's new. Put it down in the comments. I'd like to hear about it and what you think about my selections. And until 2021, keep the horns up, keep the needle down.